Patreon Q&A number 66. I want to thank all 99 of my incredible patrons. Guys, that's amazing. That is so much support, and I can't thank you enough. You guys really do make my life that much better. And to everyone else listening, there's going to be spoilers in these questions and answers, so tread carefully. Brushyboi asks, howdy Shonen, my question is this. Let's say Garou and Saitama were removed from the final Monster Association showdown, and God didn't kill Homeless Emperor. Which side do you think would win? Also, side question, do you think evil natural water could kill Saitama from the inside if he somehow drank it? I'll answer that question real quick and say no. So the main question here is a great one. So let's get into it. So we'll start from when the base gets pulled out of the ground, because that's essentially when the final showdown starts. So everything is more or less going to be playing out the same in the beginning. Tatsumaki is going to prove that she can compete against essentially all of the cadres and then get tag teamed by Psychos and Fear Ugly. And then she's basically down for the count for a little bit. Genos is going to try to defend her. He's going to get wrecked, so he's out of the picture as well. But then we go to Bang, soloing Gums and Fear Ugly. That's not going to change, so they're out of the picture. But then he is also going to be brought out as well, because he will be tag teamed by Psychos and Homeless Emperor. So we're still saying the same up until now. And then we're going to get to King coming to save the day. He's going to use the wave motion cannon, and the end result of this is going to have Psychos being defeated by Fubuki, and then Homeless Emperor being restrained by Zombie Man. So here's where we start coming to the alterations. So in this scenario, Homeless Emperor isn't killed by God, so I assume that he's probably going to spill the beans to Zombie Man. He's going to tell him as much as he can about God, and then afterwards, I fully expect Zombie Man's probably going to take him out, like behead him or something, because he has the information that he needs, and he's more of a liability to keep around, especially when they're in the middle of this battle and Zombie Man knows that they need his help. They need every single hand that they can have, and just keeping Homeless Emperor held down is just not the pragmatic thing to do. And also that, given that Zombie Man was willing to take out Garou at the end of this arc, I think he's more than likely very willing to take out Homeless Emperor as well, especially if he's of no use to him anymore. So then we're coming down to a My Mask, Zombie Man, and the rest of them taking on Black S and Evil Natural Water. Now things are going to get pretty difficult here, but then they're also going to have the support of Tatsumaki as well. But then we're going to go into Golden S time, and this is where thing is really going to get difficult for the S-Class heroes. So instead of Garou showing up in this scenario, it's going to be Flashy Flash and Dark Shine. And this is where we come to the ultimate battle at the end. And this is going to decide like who's going to win. So we're going to have Evil Natural Water, Golden S, and Black S versus Flashy Flash, Dark Shine, Puri Puri Prisoner, Weakened Child Emperor, Weakened Atomic Samurai, Weakened Tatsumaki, Weakened Pig God, and then we have Zombie Man in there as well. And I'm thinking that all of the heroes that we just mentioned are probably enough to take down Evil Natural Water, Black S, and Golden S. Now, of course, it's going to be high diff. I mean, just based off of what My Mask said alone about all of them teaming up against just Golden S by himself. But given that we have a fresh Flashy Flash and more or less a fresh Dark Shine as well, supplemented with the rest of the cast and aided by even a weakened Tatsumaki, I think they could get the job done here, meaning that it ultimately would come down to the Hero Association probably winning this if Saitama and Garou wasn't around. I mean, yeah, like I said, high diff, but very intriguing to think about as well. Steven asks, Dobrovice, dude. Which two A-Class heroes could the Association have sent to properly fight the Seaweed Monster? So, just to make it interesting, I'd say that a cool combo would be like E-Iron and Blue Flame, or Blue Fire, however the translation of that guy's name goes. Like, E-Iron proved that he was fast enough and strong enough to deal with, like, Devil Longhair's hair attack that he had, which is very similar to the way that Combo Infinity attacked Spring Mustachio. So, I think E-Iron would be enough to deal with that on the forefront, and then Blue Fire or Blue Flame could come back with support and then just light him up, which is a huge disadvantage to somebody made of friggin' seaweed. But maybe even Iron is enough to take him down. But if E-Iron's overkill, you can replace him with another like physical guy who's not going to be overpowered the way that Spring Mustachio and Golden Ball were. Maybe One-Shotter or Death Gatling possibly. How long do you think Black S has existed, and how much would he have done, or how much could he have done to make him so confident in himself? Happy Festivus or whatever. Yeah, I feel the same way. It's really whatever holiday you celebrate is fine by me. It's fun to celebrate stuff as long as you don't take it too seriously. I see people like stressing way too much over Christmas, and it's unnecessary. It's all commercialism in the end. Anyway, I think Black S is probably young, given how he talks to Atomic Samurai. He calls him old man, and he's just 37, which is not that old. And how he deems himself so powerful, well, large in part is probably because Psychos deemed him as Astro level dragon, but also he knows himself pretty well. He knows that he can multiply, he knows that he's invulnerable to weapons, and he knows that he can make Golden S. So it's more so he inherently understands how powerful he is, at least in my opinion. TorqOrMorq asks, hey, Shonen, finally decided to become a patron of yours. Love the content you put out. Hey, thanks, Torq. That really means a lot, and thank you so much for your support. I can't thank you enough for that. So in regards to the whole Blast and Saitama being the same person thing, I know Blast saved Tatsumaki when she was a child, and saying that, well, Saitama couldn't beat Blast because Saitama would have been a child at the time. But what if Saitama was going through his training, he became Blast midway through, and still wasn't satisfied with his strength, not being successful with Elder Centipede, so he continued on with his training and broke his limiter, and in the process of breaking his limiter, Saitama actually did lose some of his sanity, along with losing some of his previous memories, could have been forgotten, like say how to access his other powers, laser eyes and such, and forgot about being the hero called Blast. And much of his previous hero work as Blast was blurred, forgotten, as well as his age without breaking his limiter. Maybe he doesn't age, so that's why he still looks so young. Could Blastama still be a thing? Keep on keeping up with the great content and have a great Christmas/holiday. Hey, you too, TorqOrMorq. So unfortunately, there's just not nearly, I mean, I don't think there's any evidence to really support Saitama being Blast at all. In fact, there's way more evidence negating this than anything. There's just so much against this being a thing. But let me also go deeper into why these things that have happened in the story conflicts with this theory that you have here. Because Saitama saved Agoni's grandson 3 years ago. That's when the Hero Association started, and he wasn't powerful yet, because we're talking about the Crablante incident. And in your situation, we would be assuming that the perspective of Saitama training would have been many years ago if it was going to sync up with him saving Tatsumaki. But that wouldn't happen because 3 years before the current story, he saved, like I said, Agoni's grandson from Crablante, which led to the formation of the Hero Association. So the timelines wouldn't link up either way. It's just, yeah, there's real no way to, with at least using evidence, to prove that Blastama is a thing. But I mean, it's okay because Blast is the bearded worker, so that's pretty cool. SLURM asks, what's good, dude? I was wondering if you're planning on making a video on the Psychic Sisters arc. To my understanding, I can't find a single channel that's covered this one thoroughly yet. It's all you, man. Have a good one. Hey, that's a great idea, SLURM. I think I'm probably going to do that now. What I originally had planned for that topic was I was going to make a video where I just caught everyone up to what was going on in the webcomic. Basically, everything that happens after the Monster Association wraps up, but breaking it down into each individual little arc and spread it out to multiple videos is probably a better idea. And I'll start with the Psychic Sisters arc because, you know, it is pretty significant. It has the Saitama versus Tatsumaki in there, and then it has a whole bunch of new storylines blooming, some that are still ongoing currently that have yet to be resolved and are probably going to be going on for the rest of the series. So yeah, I will do this. Thank you for the idea, SLURM. Nico L asks, hola Shonen, haven't been around in a while since I couldn't really think of any questions, but I'm finally back. Hey, thanks Nico for supporting me all that time despite you not having any questions. I really do appreciate the continued support, my friend. But anyway, I was wondering if you've played the Devil May Cry games, and what disaster level would you give Dante and Nero from the series? They seem pretty crazy to me, and I was thinking that they would at least be dragons, but I wanted to see your opinion. So you're actually kind of lowballing them, because these guys are pretty outrageous, and it's not just me. Like, the fandom, for lack of a better word, wanks these guys, like, even more so than, like, what the Dragon Ball stands do. So me personally, I've only really played the second game, and that was, like, when I was in middle school, I think, but they're, like, absurd in power. Now, maybe we don't get to see it too definitively in the games themselves, but considering the way that the fandom, like, scales these guys to absurd terms that I don't even want to say because it causes so much controversy, but I'll just say, just to be fair and to make this as least inflammatory as possible, they're very likely to be what would be considered above God. Legandaryus asks, hey Shonen, was wondering who you think the Justice League counterparts are for One Punch Man. I could see the strong argument for Saitama or Blast as Superman. I think I will tip my hat to Saitama since he does do hero work more often, while Blast only battles god-level threats when he feels like it. Though Blast is considered the first hero in One Punch Man, so it could be either way. A similar thing could be said for Metal Knight and Child Emperor as Batman's counterpart. So this is another fun question, and I would say that Blast is definitely would be considered the counterpart for Superman. Mainly because, like, Blast only stepped away because the S-Class can take it from there. It's more like if Superman just retired because there was more than enough powerful people that could just deal with the threats rather than him having to do it for himself. And he could just focus on being like a Clark Kent or whatever he wants, which essentially is happening with Blast and the Bearded Worker. But as for Saitama, I think that he's more like the Spectre of DC. Like, he's like that type of level, like way outside of like anyone that's like a quote-unquote playable character in this world. And then as for like Batman, I would say, in my opinion, he's more akin to like Zombie Man. They're more like that hard-boiled noir detective style type. But then if we're counting like Cyborg, then I guess he can fill in the role for like Drive Knight or Genos or something like that. And then Metal Knight and Child Emperor, they're difficult to say because I don't know the full roster of the Justice League. I don't know how deep it goes, honestly. But and then the Flash, of course, is Flashy Flash. And then like Martian Manhunter, I don't know, maybe he could be like Tatsumaki or something like that. Chance asks, hey Shonen, if you took Sonic and Flashy Flash and put them into the Naruto universe, how would their ninja skills compare? Would they be Jonin or Hokage level? Probably not in Naruto and Sasuke's level, but let me know what you think. Thanks, have a good one. Hey, you too, Chance. So, well, if we're just going off of skills, I think they're probably just as skilled as a Jonin is, especially when we saw the extent of Flashy Flash's like potential when he went against Saitama in the training room, and that's just as good as any Jonin in my opinion. Hokage level's a different thing because then you have to go into like their ninjutsu and their hand seals and all of that technique that has to do with chakra, which they're completely unaware of, so they're at a disadvantage there. But their speed, I'm not going to try to say that like they're faster than this character because that's just going to cause a whole flame war and then you're going to get arbitrary calcs being thrown around, which doesn't matter to me, like I said before, but I'll just say that they would probably be at the top tier of speed in the Naruto universe because I think Flashy Flash is easily there. He's proven it with his feats. But other than that, I think their skills, like I said, would probably be Jonin level, something like that. Also, what we've seen of them go against the Heavenly Ninja Party, but it just gets real watery and once we get to like the whole chakra stuff. AyoJay asks, yo, what's good, Z? I'm a first-time patron and long-time YouTube subscriber. Think you got some pretty dope content, man. Keep it up. Respect the grind. Hey, thanks, AyoJay. I really appreciate that, and I appreciate your new support, so thank you so much. My first question is, what disaster rating would you give the Angels from Evangelion and Eva 1? How would they affect the world of One Punch Man? And also shout out my man Fat Gum for pulling a Choji. That was too raw. Yeah, that was one of the best moments of the series. Unfortunately, that is going to be the peak for Fat Gum until the unforeseeable future, I suppose. But as for the Evas, or the Angels and the Eva 1, it's difficult to say, and that's mainly because of the mythology coming from Evangelion, as it's coming from like a super complex supernatural power scale that's derived from like Lilith and Adam and all of that stuff. So that means like if it came into the One Punch Man world, then you would have to account for Lilith and Adam and how they affect with the universe and everything like that, and it would throw into question like how powerful is this, how powerful is that, in conjunction with the supernatural properties and the power scale of One Punch Man as well. But in order to not get into the semantics and get too arbitrary with it, I'll just say like going off of just what they have as a whole, like the AT fields and their destructive abilities and everything and their vulnerabilities, I would say that they're like probably going to be similar to Beefcake in that regard. At least the Angels. I mean, they do have the AT fields. We'll throw that into the equation, but they can be destroyed even if you're not canceling it out with an AT field, because we saw like the N2 weapons were able to take them down, and I'm sure that One Punch Man or just the characters within the universe, the rather powerful like dragon characters, are probably able to replicate that kind of damage from whatever attacks or abilities that they have. I don't think that's too far-fetched to think. So The AT fields wouldn't really make them too indestructible. But given, you know, like I said, the semantics with their supernatural abilities aside, I don't think they're probably going to God level. They don't seem to be, like, too much more powerful than Beefcake. I mean, from a size standpoint, I think they're probably just as big, but their physical output is probably not as powerful from what we've seen of Beefcake. And that goes into how they would affect the world, because the Avas would only really come out for something like that, like a Beefcake or a Pluton or an evil Elder Centipede or something like that. But in the end, I still don't think that they would be at the top of the power scale. I still think that like guys like Goketsu, you know, super powerful, not too small, fast guys like that are probably going to be too much for them. So that's pretty much it for the video today, guys. Once again, I want to thank all 99 of my incredibly awesome, handsome, attractive, overpowered patrons. Guys, I love you so much. And I can't thank you enough for all your support. And if you would like to be in next week's Q&A, simply just check out my Patreon. $5 tier will give you access to this video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.